In other words, people don't want to go back to the office. Can you blame them? I mean, you've been home sitting around in your pajamas for the last 2 years, and all of a sudden somebody's telling you to jump back out there in that traffic and parking and all the other catching the metro and the cold and the rain. So what's happening, there are some good excuses and there are some not so good excuses. I mean, some good excuses are things like had a car accident or your car won't start, somebody died in your family, personal illness, your child got ill, things like that. But there are some excuses that are not so good. What I'm going to do, I like to test my audience this morning to make sure you guys are on top of things. I'm going to give you a quick test before we go to the break. Now, I'm going to ask you this question just to make sure that you're on top of things so that you don't get in trouble with your boss. Let's just say you just started your job and I'm going to give you a multiple choice and tell me which one of these would be an acceptable reason to give your boss so they're not looking at you sideways. Now, some of these may be true, but they may not make a good excuse. They may not engender your longevity on the job, even though it is true. So the first one, these are reasons that you might give your boss. I'm following up on this article that was in we saw on LinkedIn about people avoiding or looking for ways to avoid work. So I'm just going to make sure we're ready. We like to keep our audience on top of things. Number one, is this a good reason to give your boss to avoid going to the office? One, you're in jail. Maybe true, but is it a good reason? Okay. Number two, your pit bull has some new puppies. Is that a good reason to avoid going to the office? It may be true, but is it a good reason? Number three, it was the last day of the McRib, and you didn't want to lose your place in line. It may be true, but is it a good reason to avoid going to the office? And number four, you had a medical appointment and you had a certificate excuse from the doctor. Which one of these are a legitimate and good excuse for not going to the office? And I'll wait on the answer.